AEW All In goes down this weekend from Wembley Stadium in England. In the main event, it is Swerve Strickland defending the AEW World Championship against Bryan Danielson. This feud has been tremendous. I think it has brought out the best in both performers and really brought out like it's really highlighted the best aspects of where these performers are at in their career, with Danielson fighting for one last chance and also like his quest to help the next generation out, and Swerve Strickland looking to take that from him, but not just his wrestling career that we all know he holds so dear, but also try to be like, yeah, and this push to extend your legacy by helping out the next generation, it ain't shit. I'm going to beat up on Wheeler Yuta. You've done nothing. And now you're just going to fade away. I think it is tremendous work from both of these men. And look, I thought having Hangman as the guy in this world title match at Wembley Stadium was the perfect kind of blow off to this whole thing. But I think you've got an amazing storyline out of all of this. And now you still have Hangman Swerve in your back pocket that you can do whenever. And it has, I think it's elevated Swerve. It's not that Danielson needed elevating, but boy, has he looked good. And now you have this intrigue kind of hanging over the whole thing of what does Hangman Adam Page actually do, and that can set you up for pay-per-views further on down the line. In the tag team title match, it will be the Young Bucks defending against FTR and the Acclaimed. And I think the Acclaimed have done a good job of kind of evolving and really stepping up and getting into a more serious tone with these characters. I have a Scissor Me Daddy Ass shirt in my closet. Like this is a group that I have loved for basically their entirety. They have been just a blast to watch and to enjoy. But I do think there needed to be a bit of an evolution in their characters. And I think it starts with Blood and Guts, and now it has been able to evolve into this more serious role that this team is taking on. And so that has been really great to see. It should be a really interesting match now with them, the Bucks and FTR. Admittedly, Bucks and FTR is getting a little, and while I have liked the Acclaimed, that the setup for this has been a little blah to me, which is something you can say for a few of these, quite frankly. But I think it's going to be a great match, and I love this evolution from the Acclaimed, and I think it's going to be a tricky balancing act to kind of keep the parts of the characters that we liked, and kind of stay true to these characters and to this group, but while also developing that edge and moving forward with that. In another match that has my attention, it's Mercedes Moné against Britt Baker. This one was stunted a little bit. Britt Baker got suspended, and so Moné had to carry the whole thing, and it hasn't gotten into the next gear that I think it could have. Mercedes Moné is maybe not necessarily the performer that a lot of people, I shouldn't even say that. It's just not a character, and it's just not a promo style that have clicked. I think she is quite good. But I think she is quite good. Like specifically, she's a very good wrestler. And I think it is more produced packages and stuff that help build her. And because she has been the only one in this feud, she has had to do the grunt work in front of the crowds as well. And so that has, I think, kind of limited this. But again, the match is going to be fantastic. The build hasn't been all that great, which I think is just the tagline for AEW at this point. But I will say, Camille Brickhouse being added to it is a really fun wrinkle, kind of being the Diesel to Mercedes' Shawn Michaels and building her up that way. Camille, I got to ring announce for her when I kind of returned to ring announcing with Wild Rose Wrestling about this time last year. Great professional, phenomenal in the ring, an amazing look as well, and I think a real great addition to this overall package, and I think provides a fun wrinkle for what should be a great match. But when we're talking about great matches, I think one is probably going to steal the show, and that will be MJF against Will Ospreay for the United States International Championship. This match is going to be incredible. The first one exceeded all expectations, and now this one will be expected to top that. I'm not sure how they're going to do it, but I think it'll be interesting. I think we have seen a real edge in Will Ospreay. I think his character work since coming over to AEW has been brilliant. And some of the stuff with Kyle Fletcher, the Daniel Garcia thing felt a little forced, but the Kyle Fletcher part of it to get to that point was really great. I don't love that MJF is doing the real American gimmick, quite frankly. I think he is just better than that. And so to do that, like, you stop what would have been like some support behind this guy anyway. But like doing the real American gimmick as a heel thing in the States is weird. And like he's good enough to pull it off, but it feels very cheap for me. It feels like something you would give someone who isn't as good of a character as MJF is. And so hopefully this is an evolution that is very quick and you don't really have to deal with for a whole lot, but the match is going to be great. Overall, I think it's been an all right build. AEW has been hitting their stride in a few areas over the last little bit. There are still some classic AEW storyline problems and things of that nature. The Young Bucks being in charge but not being totally in charge. Like it feels like they're kind of halfway on both, and it hasn't made that story click. And then the fallout from Blood and Guts, where it's just like, okay, well, they didn't light Jack Perry on fire, so he gets a title match now. That has been that's been all right, but it feels like there has been some issues with that, and with a few of the stories where it's just like, and now they're having a match. Cool. But overall, this is going to be a fantastic show coming up this weekend. Barring something unforeseen, I should be able to watch this one live, and so we're hoping to get a quick post show up once the show is done this weekend. So that's going to be that's going to be what we're doing here for All In, but we're going to have some coverage here throughout the week as well.